The Ataris is an American alternative rock band from Anderson, Indiana. They have released 5 studio albums, with So Long, Astoria certified gold. In 2009, an album was announced to be entitled The Graveyard of the Atlantic, although the album's status has been on indefinite ambiguity, with just 2 EPs released in 2010 and 2012, both with the same titles as the awaited album. History Kung Fu Records formed in 1995, the band originally consisted of singer, songwriter, guitarist Christopher Rowe and guitarist Jasin Thomason. Using a 4-track, Rowe wrote and recorded demos in his bedroom, using a drum machine while he searched for a full-time drummer. The band's first big break came in 1996 when Rowe attended a show at the Club Bogarts in Cincinnati, where Jasin passed one of the band's demo tapes to a roadie from the band. The roadie gave the tape to Joe Escalante, bassist from the band The Vandals, who owned their own label, Kung Fu Records. A few weeks later, Rowe received a call from Kung Fu Records, who told him they were interested in putting out their record, even though he was really only searching for a drummer. The Ataris signed to Kung Fu and the label passed the tape along to various drummers. Eventually, Rowe decided upon ex-Lagwagon drummer Derek Blood. The band then proceeded to record their debut album Anywhere But Here, tracking the whole thing in less than a week. The album was released on April 29, 1997, and the band held a release show party at Missing Link Records in Indianapolis on May 2. In June 1997, Rowe moved from Anderson, Indiana to Santa Barbara, California. Shortly afterward, Marco DeSantis joined the band on bass for a short time. Thomason decided to leave the band to stay in Indiana, and the group toured as a 3-piece for a short while. After a brief tour in October 1997, this lineup disbanded. Rowe, out of money and living in a van, contemplated moving back to Indiana. But the band still had an upcoming tour booked with Dance Hall Crashers and Unwritten Law, so Rowe decided to give the band one more shot. He got his friend from Santa Barbara, Mike Davenport, to play bass. Davenport shared a small rehearsal space on East Haley Street with his friend Marco P+, who was in a different band. One day at the rehearsal space, Rowe and Davenport heard the drummer of P+A's band, Chris Knapp, playing and immediately asked him to join the Ataris. While Rowe and Davenport joked that P+A would be upset over them stealing his band's drummer, P+A surprised them by showing up at their practice the next day, strapping on his guitar, and playing along. It turned out P+A had learned all the songs from Anywhere But Here. He joined the band as a second guitarist and the foursome went on their scheduled tour. However, P+A soon left the band due to personal reasons and was replaced by Patrick Riley. From there, the band gradually increased in popularity in the underground rock scene, a lot due to their consistent touring and personal, DIY approach to the band. They then found more success with their 1998 EP Look Forward to Failure, released on San Francisco punk label Fat Records. However, it wasn't until the release of Blue Skies, Broken Hearts, Next 12 Exits in the year 1999 that they started to gain widespread acclaim. The album's name comes from the name of a mobile home park along Highway 101 in Santa Barbara. Also, Next 12 Exits refers to a nearby sign on Highway 101 north that reads Santa Barbara, Next 12 Exits. The album contained personal, storytelling lyrics and heartfelt tales of relationships, discovery and things once left behind. After this album, Riley left the band to go back to school, and Marco P+A rejoined the band. The band's third full-length studio album, End Is Forever, was released in 2001. This album painted a more intensely personal side of the band's storytelling and personal relationships. Due to their persistent touring schedule, a lot of the arrangements and lyrics were worked out at the last minute while in the studio and then the vocals recorded while Rowe had a bad cold. Rowe maintains that he was not completely happy with half of the songs, although he went on to state that in spite of this, several of the songs such as Fast Times at Dropout High, and Road Signs and Rock Songs were still to date some of the band's strongest of their earlier career. So Long, Astoria In 2002, the lineup changed again, with John Kalura replacing P plus or minus on guitar. Prior to this, Kalura had played in his own band who'd toured with the Ataris. He had also done time on tour as a guitar tech for the Ataris just prior to P plus or minus A's departure. During this same period, the Ataris' contract with Kung Fu Records expired, and the band chose to sign with Columbia Records. Later that year, they began recording their fourth full-length album and major label debut, So Long, Astoria, released on March 4, 2003. Produced by Lou Giordano, the album's production served as a stark contrast to any of the band's past releases. Whereas previous efforts would be recorded in short time spans between tours. So Long, Astoria was widely credited for introducing the Ataris to a larger mainstream audience and generating several successful singles, including In This Diary, and The Saddest Song. Musically, the album showcased very personal, encrypted and slightly more optimistic songwriting with a more refined, straightforward rock sound, not unlike Jimmy Eat World. This album also included their hit cover song, originally recorded by Don Henley, The Boys of Summer, which much to the dismay of the band became their accidental second single after a radio station, KROQ in Los Angeles, started playing it, even though the band had already chosen the song My Reply as their second single. The single is their highest charting single to date, reaching number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. The band toured behind this record for most of 2003 and into early 2004, adding another guitarist to the band. That year also saw the release of a low-key live album, Live at the Metro, along with a track on the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack. So Long, Astoria sold well in excess of 700,000 copies and was certified gold. After a number of personal, financial and artistic differences, this lineup decided to respectfully and creatively go its separate ways over the summer and fall of 2004. Davenport, interested in playing heavier music, became a founding member of the band Versus the World, while Knapp stopped playing music altogether and stayed in Santa Barbara. Details regarding the departures of Knapp and Davenport have been kept quiet for some time, and neither camp has appeared interested in fueling any public debate or ill will. Looking for some time off, Rowe headed back to Indiana while Kalura, Farrier moved back to New York. Though they would later regroup to begin the recordings of the band's next album. Welcome the Night. After some time off, Rowe and Kalura later moved forward and began writing songs that would become part of the follow-up to So Long, Astoria, titled Welcome the Night. They held some informal practices with some friends from New York, who played in the band Park Ranger. These sessions led to 3 members of Park Ranger joining the Ataris, Sean Hansen on bass, Shane Shackles on drums, and Paul Carabello on third guitar. To round out the lineup they added longtime friends Bob Hogue, formerly of Pollen and the Go Reflex, on piano and keyboards, and Angus Cook on cello. Cook played cello on past Ataris records, and helped with production as well. Starting in 2005, the band began recording Welcome the Night at CD Underbelly in California, with producer Nick Launey. Writing and recording eventually took the better part of 2 years and was extended to multiple studios. The album was routinely delayed by Columbia. On June 10, 2006, the band announced that it had left Columbia Records due to the label's internal disintegration. In November 2006, the Ataris started their own imprint, Isola Recordings, through Sanctuary Records and Red Distribution, and simultaneously announced the official release date of their 5th album Welcome the Night as February 20, 2007. Welcome the Night debuted at number 85 on the Billboard charts with over 12,000 copies sold. Following the album's release, the band embarked on a tour of the United States and Europe. The Graveyard of the Atlantic and So Long, Astoria Reunion Tour. In 2010, a 2-track EP, All Souls Day and The Graveyard of the Atlantic containing just its eponymous tracks was released under the Paper Plus Plastic label. In 2012, the band released a 4-track EP entitled The Graveyard of the Atlantic. From 2013, the Ataris begun a North American tour with Chris Rowe as singer and the former members John Kalura, Mike Davenport and Chris Knapp to celebrate the 10 years of their most successful album So Long, Astoria. Band members. Current members: Cristoforo Euro vocals, rhythm guitar, Brian Nelson Euro bass guitar, Thomas Holster Euro lead guitar, Eric Perkins drums. Former members: Marco DeSantis Euro bass guitar, Derek Blood Euro drums, Patrick Riley Euro guitar, Marco P ± AA Euro guitar, Joseph Faria Euro guitar, Paul Carabello Euro guitar. Backing vocals: Sean Hansen Euro bass guitar. Backing vocals: Angus Cook Euro cello, Shane Chikils Euro drums, Christopher Swinney Euro lead guitar, Jacob Dwiggins Euro drums, Aaron Glass, lead guitar, Rob Felicetti Euro drums, Bob Hoger Euro drums, keyboards. Backing vocals: John Kalura Euro guitar. Backing vocals: piano, Mike Davenport Euro bass guitar, Chris Knapp Euro drums. Timeline. Discography. Studio albums: Anywhere But Here, Blue Skies, Broken Hearts. Next 12 exits: End Is Forever, So Long, Astoria, Welcome the Night. References. External links: The Ataris on Facebook.